scene. The French Revolution has copious stories. You know of some. The Reign of Terror took too many lives. You have heard the names that up and Robespierre, but do you know the rest? Not Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, not the Carmelite nuns, not Danton and Desmoulins. There were many, many more. Some were our families, some were our friends. We will tell our story, the story of the women whose names you may have heard, the story of the women who changed the course of history. Through science, through art, through philosophy, through publication, through discourse, through murder, murder, murder. It is our duty to tell the stories, to tell you of those who lived and died. We tell it to you urgently, so you won't forget. Their names are half hidden in history, but today we make it plain. We're the ones who lived, we're the ones who tell the stories of those who lost their heads, who lost their lives. We're the ones who lived, we're the ones who tell the stories of those who lost their heads, who lost their lives. She's She will draw attention to us, not just the Girondins, but aristocratic women in general. It is not good for us to be noticed right now. It's a fine line we must be. It's a fine line, but not so vocal to attract negative attention from the Jacobins. This is my home, these are my salons. If Charlotte wants to be a Girondin, then she must listen to rational thought. It does not matter how much we attempt to improve the role of women in France. If the wrong side comes to power, we are thoughtful, considerate, intelligent women, free thinkers all. If Charlotte is unpredictable, as you say, we must encourage her to become and careful. All else it could be the downfall of us. That is my fear as well. Let us see if she is of sound mind today before we intervene. Look the others on my way. Hello, ladies. How lovely of you to come for tea. I'm so delighted you all could attend. I cannot wait to hear the news of your children. Hurry before anyone questions all of your presence.
Yes, how delightful to see you, Madame Roland. Thank you so much for inviting us to your home. But you know I much prefer coffee as I'm a lady of the people.
I cannot wait to share all the latest fashion trends in Versailles. And I want to tell you all about the latest party that Elizabeth hosted. Give me some I refuse to play along with this charade. This charade is the only reason that we are able to meet.
Yes, Charlotte, please. I may be outspoken, but I would like to keep the Jacobins at bay.
She's alright. Jacobin, victory be.
Today, but I think we can all agree that the tides are turning in France. We are going to have to figure out how to find freedom among the royal family.
I have been to paint the queen often as of late. They know that tensions are high, but I don't think they have any idea how intense the situation has become with the citizens of France.
Please, ladies, I think we must consider not just ourselves, but our families. The men in our lives are already the subject of much scrutiny, most unknown on Gironda. It is assumed we are as well. If not Girondins, specifically, then at least Girondin sympathizes. I think we need to stay quiet, observe from as far as possible, and only speak when necessary.
That's what they want us to do, and by doing so,
she took spleen. My dear friends, that does not fight upon us, it does not become us, nor is it helpful. Yes, oh, may this grace be of such a shows of attacking now and leaving friends, but as none of this appeal to me, do they to you? I think we should carry on our individual steps, so to show some light as we love to do. Elizabeth is aiming for spirit to space and far from some situation at court. I do not see myself as being such cause to that, and you won't give us prince death, and I will die, but it is absolutely worth it. If Nora dies first, they think I am unstable. They think I will cause more destruction. They don't know what he's capable of doing. Today I was to paint another portrait of the Queen. I had great plans to add chiaroscuro in ways never before seen on a canvas, but not today, because Madame Guillotine must play my friend. Today I come to watch Charlotte Today I listen from my prison cell. In the future we will write about today. In the future things will change. In the future. But today all of Paris comes out to watch Charlotte die. Today I was to paint another portrait of the Queen. I had great plans to add chiaroscuro in ways never before seen on a canvas, but not today, because Madame Guillotine must play my friend. Today I come out to watch Charlotte die. What a sight with the love of the was here, going to the side of the I'm sorry, to reality. I hesitate to leave the magic of
like the stench of dirty bodies.
Lies. Don't cry.
No tears.
Move back now for my dear friend,
For my caring friend.
for my passionate friend,
For my good
for
friend.
my good friend in the right. The murderess, the murderess, the murderess. We support her, and what Charlotte died.
They dressed me in red, the color of a traitor. I embrace it, if traitor I am, to save lives of others, then traitor I'll be. I've suffered indignities that would never befall man. They asked if I am a virgin and told me of plans to check my endless body after death. How disappointed they will be that no man has had me or influenced me. They want me to show shame. They want me to embrace all Jacobin, beg forgiveness. I savor the last few moments before the bleed. I fill my lungs with hot July air. The cause is good. My reason shelter is mine, a special gift that has given me an invigorating and luxurious lifestyle. I made friends with Queen Marie Antoinette as her personal artist of choice. When I began painting her, she invited me to sing with her. After I was finished for the day, the Queen loves music, and I always aim to please. How blessed I am to have these joys to be chosen by such a lovely soul. And now there is so much to be lost. My dear Marie Antoinette, my liege, my queen has lost her husband, the king. Forced from Versailles to the Tuileries, King Louis XVI was murdered by the guillotine. My dear Marie Antoinette, the widow Capet, had her children stolen from her, and she lingers in the temple tower. She attempted escape, but now she has been sentenced to death for high treason. They treat her worse than an animal, and still she says nothing. My dear Marie Antoinette held lavish parties just like I. She loved her children desperately and ferociously, just as do I, my dear Jolie. She has talent and charm and never really had a say in her destiny. The stories circle around Paris, and so many of them are false. She's the most hated woman in France, the most hated woman in France. She is abhorred, and she is abused, and now she will soon die. I mourn my friend, and I know more are going to be joining her. I knew that I must leave France. I hope it will not be for long. I've watched my Charlotte die, and I could not wait to be with my dear Marie Antoinette. In her final moments, I fled in darkest night and took with me my darling daughter. I hope my husband and my patrons understand. If I stayed, I would lose my life, if only
I've been imprisoned for some time. It doesn't get any easier. I don't know how long they will keep me here, but I'm beginning to believe I will never leave France. They have tried me and sentenced me to death. They meant to kill me today, but I told them I was pregnant
with my son Elbe. When the tide slowly began to turn, I knew that I would have to leave, but that never changed my drive. Oh,
my words don't matter now, although I still write. I hear the Queen has lost her head, so there is not much hope for mine. I try to stay quiet out of scrutiny, but perhaps that was unrealistic, since Jean-Marie was such an important Girondin. They could not let me live. The midwife came and said it was too early to tell if I am with child or not. They take no prisoners, they only take lives. I will die tomorrow, but tonight I will write
stories that could rival those of Goethe and Shelley. Olin says that women deserve the same rights as men. Through me her ideals and legacy will continue. This is the idea which came to my mind.
A salon for women, a place where women could speak freely and without interference from men. I do not know if anyone will remember me for that, since they do not believe I am a feminist. They do not understand me. They think I'm one and the same as Marie Antoinette. They even put me in her cell at the conciergerie from after her attempted escape. The world will never know the life that's within me. Who could have been a mere citizen of France, or one who would bring great change to the world? Could it be? I hope it will be. Iris, my friends, my Geraldine, I wonder where they all are now, forever apart, but always together within my heart. Treason! Isn't that funny? After all this time, treason! I should laugh while I still have a mouth that can smile. They never tell you that at the end you'll be alone with your thoughts. Here I am! And even though I've fought my whole life for women, for equal rights, for art and fulfillment of what I deemed to be obvious, all I can think about is legacy. I just want my legacy to be worth my head which gives me reason and treason. I want to be remembered and respected. I'm fairly certain that I am proud of myself. I guess that I am proud. I challenge Rousseau, contested his notions in appeal of women being raised to fulfill the pleasure and needs of men. I challenge Beaumarchais, he who tried to ban my play. I even challenge Robespierre, and that's what led me here, a man for the people. I hope it comes back to bite him, since he never truly practiced that which he preached. I declare that I am yet another scapegoat for a cause beyond my experience. I'm neither aristocrat nor royal, but philosophy is threatening when it comes from a woman. How droll! If I'd kept my mouth shut, I could have kept my head. But the pen must write, and I must be heard. In my own words, I will be given a legacy. My head leaves my body, but not in vain. It is corporeal. Words linger. Words last. Words linger. Words last. Words mean something. Treason, isn't it funny? After all this time, treason, I should laugh while I still have a mouth that can smile. They never tell you that at the end you'll be alone with your thoughts. I am at peace and I am ready. I could have done more, I could have said more, but there is only so much time on this earth. What a gift it was to me, given any time at all. And to have had a voice, though it be cut in half, now at the moment of my prime, let me go now. Let me go now. Let me go now. I relinquish my pen. I am much like most women. Up to today I am special only in that I have ended up in this cell. I and my political discourse that I enjoy. Hearing men speak of their opinions, it is not a woman's place to have a firm stance on politics. Women must listen quietly and let men decide such things. My next, please let me be last. I've heard news of them, all of my close women friends who attended my secret salon. Gone in one way or another for 4 days a week. I held my salons for my husband and his friends. One day when no one would notice, my ladies would gather to an outside it. It might look like tea, but to us it was a chance to discuss politics, the aristocracy, and our lives. It was not gossip, it was how to handle a gentleman and the other jaded friends. I hope I am the last. Rousseau was brilliant and quite right. Man and women must live in separate spheres. There are roles for women and roles for men. Women must be virtuous and stay outside of public politics. I try to showcase for women the ideas of Rousseau and Julie, and I hope that this work outlives me. Like Julie, I loved a man who is not my husband. Isn't that silly to be up and so now I was arrested before Charlotte. I, the moderate, the calm one, the one who obeyed the rules and followed expectations. I petitioned for Jean-Marie's innocence at times. That was how they claimed I was not a citizen of the people. They claimed he committed treason, and I, although often arrested, was always able to convince them of my innocence. And yet here I am waiting for the scaffold. In another time, perhaps my loyalty would have been rewarded. Perhaps I wish I could write my true legacy. I am a Girondist, I am a Rousseau, I am a woman of France. I believe in freedom and liberty, I believe in what I have not. I miss my life, I miss my friends, I miss all that could have been. Am I next to the scaffold? Am I the last of my friends? Marat was my undoing, along with all of his supporters. Shall not rest her soul, but she was right to kill him. Perhaps she was right. I carry messages to my husband from so many I loved. But he was mine, and I supported him. I was his wife. I just want my life back. And my next is let me be last. Let me be last. Let me be last. Let me be last. Let me be last.
want to come home. When can we come home? We want to come home. They took my money. They took my property. But I will prevail. I am home. I am home. Home.
They say, Germaine, what will you do? Switzerland is just not for you. How silly is that? I'm from Geneva, or at least I was. I said, how wrong you are. I'll find my tribe. If not my old friends, then I will make new. Regardless, people will always come to you. It's true, they do. People love to hear what I have to say. I'm witty and smart, a dazzling conversationalist, and with a kind heart. They say I'm a woman of letters, whatever that means. They say that I have more friends than the Queen. Well, I should hope so. That didn't work out too well for her. I like my clothes, I like to shop. I'm a moderate, but I so appreciate a bold frock. I'm loads of fun, but don't mess with me. I'm smart and wiser than you know. I'm loads of fun, but don't mess with me. You don't want an enemy. The one I couldn't stand was he, the Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte, his name. A Machiavelli, he told me I should stick to knitting. He exiled me because I scared him. Exiled without trial. I kept on writing, never losing my flair for cunning and guile. I lay the Corbett group with gusto head. So much gold, my friends said of me, three great powers struggling against Napoleon for the soul of Europe, England, Russia, and Madame Stahl. He kept me running to Russia and Sweden, so many places. I kept good company, my legacy belongs to so many faces. I wrote my 10-year exile and thought I'd be free, but fled again to Coppet. When Bonaparte chose Courtesier, I knew that if he could, he would come after me. I hoped to outlive him and thought I might his exile to Elba was a bright shining light. After that I became paralyzed and could not run. My body was finished, but my thoughts lived on. I had a great life full of passion and drive. Through romanticism my thoughts did thrive. I chose to run, I chose to go. Regret is
courtship with the queen, she who picked up my brushes when I was too pregnant to bend.
Numbers, logic, math, science. I love this fight for words. I fight for what makes sense in my mind. Chemistry knows no boundaries or genders. It cares not for one sex. It is clean and uncompromising. It either is right or wrong. Science and art to halves of all. Women and men, life and legacy. Science and art, discipline meets design. Together they are essential. They are divine.
Art is subjective. Beauty changes from one to the next. But I hope that my realism and subtlety will be appreciated long after I'm gone. Art and science, a whole picture from art's necessity. In compromise, creation and demise, science and art, discipline meets design. Together they are essential. They are divine.
Numbers, logic, math, science. I love this fight for words. I fight for what makes sense in my heart. Chemistry knows no boundaries or genders. It cares not for one sex. It is clean and uncompromising. It either is right or wrong. Science and art to halves of all.
Necessity and compromise, creation